The sun hung low in the sky as Elijah stepped off the train onto the platform in Brookhaven, an atmosphere of lethargy clinging to the air. The town's languid charm belied a certain disquiet, an undercurrent of anxiety that skimmed just beneath the surface. Elijah was a walking contradiction, a shield of soft-spoken kindness and keen intelligence masking a core hardened by war. His eyes held an age that belied his youth. Here was a man who had seen too much too soon, scars unseen, whispering tales of a haunted past. He found his way to Main Street, where Brookhaven unfurled in all its quaint oddity. A single road ran like a vein through the heart of the town, stores lining the sidewalk, their rustic charm evoking a sense of nostalgia. At the heart of the mystery, nestled between a dusty bookstore and a fading diner, lay the Serpent's Coil. The nightclub was an anomaly amongst its dated peers, a glossy facade hiding an enigmatic interior. To an outsider, it was just a hotspot. To the informed, it was a crucible of unsolved disappearances. Over a lukewarm cup of coffee at the diner, Elijah met Margot, a waitress with a youthful face marked by an underlying weariness. "Strange happenings at the Coil," she mused, her voice a hushed whisper. "People enter as they are, but they don't always come out that way, if they come out at all." Elijah's curiosity was piqued, his investigative instincts humming. "What do you mean?" he asked, his gaze holding Margot's. "Well," she said, looking out of the window at the Coil, "it's like the place has a mind of its own. I've heard folks talking about weird symbols and odd rituals happening inside." As the sun set, Elijah walked the quiet streets, the eeriness of the town crawling under his skin. He noticed an eerie shadow, too sharp and distinct, that darted around the corner. An unsettling whisper seemed to seep from the shadows, curling around him like an icy wisp of wind, tugging at the fringes of his resolve. The remainder of the evening was spent poring over newspaper clippings and police reports in his dimly lit motel room, trying to thread together the scattered pieces of the puzzle. The image that began to form was one of bizarre symbols, hushed conversations, and a dread that only seemed to bloom after the sun went down. The day's exertions took their toll, and as he drifted off into an uneasy sleep, the town's whispers turned into his nightmares, morphing into voices and images that held the power to shake him from his slumber. The veil was beginning to lift from Brookhaven, a town that held secrets of cosmic proportions. As he descended into the heart of darkness, he found himself on the precipice of a truth that promised to shatter his world. The clock on the wall struck midnight as the last conscious thought flickered in his mind. Beneath the Serpent's Coil, the real nightmare awaits. The neon glimmer of the Serpent's Coil beckoned Elijah from afar as night's cloak descended over Brookhaven. Bathed in its electric glow, the nightclub took on an otherworldly hue, contrasting sharply with the town's otherwise rustic tones. As he approached, the muffled strains of discordant music reached out to him, an eerie siren call that set his nerves on edge. Inside, the atmosphere was unlike anything he'd previously encountered. The music pulsed, strangely disorientating, and the patrons danced in strange, jerking movements that seemed to follow no rhythm of this world. Their laughter sounded hollow, and their smiles didn't reach their eyes. It felt as though they were all performing a grotesque pantomime of enjoyment, while some inexplicable dread lurked beneath. He found himself drawn to the bar, where a barmaid with haunted eyes served drinks, her movements mechanical. He ordered a drink and tried to strike up a conversation. Her voice was barely a whisper as she spoke. "You're new here, aren't you?" she asked, her gaze piercing. "Careful, some doors here are better left unopened." Something about her warning resonated with him, reminding him of the shadowy figure and the unsettling whispers. His investigative instincts kicked in as he subtly began probing the nightclub, peeling back its glossy veneer to uncover its dark underbelly. He discovered hidden corridors and concealed rooms, each filled with an eerie quiet that belied the cacophony outside. Within these hidden spaces, he felt as though he was walking into a different world, where time seemed to bend and warp, echoing with whispers of his own name. Within the bowels of the nightclub, he found a hidden basement, filled with dusty relics and obscure symbols etched into the walls. It hummed with an energy that was palpable. The relics seemed alien, ancient, and pulsated with an unsettling resonance, As he traced his fingers over the symbols, he felt a shiver of dread crawl up his spine. His subconscious mind recoiled, a primal instinct recognizing the darkness that lurked within these symbols. Back in the deceptive normalcy of the nightclub, he found himself increasingly disoriented. The warping of time, the distorted reflections, and the eerie whispers all collided into a harrowing sensory overload. He felt himself being drawn into the Coil's hypnotic depths, a spiraling vortex that promised to reveal the secrets it guarded so closely. The nightclub was indeed more than a gathering place. It was a labyrinth of mysteries, a nexus between reality and something far more terrifying. As the evening wore on, he couldn't shake off the feeling that he was about to fall into the abyss. Exiting the club, the pre-dawn chill bit into him, the fresh air seeming foreign after the Coil's claustrophobic atmosphere. The town of Brookhaven slept on, oblivious to the horrors that hid beneath the neon glow of the nightclub. His mind buzzed with the disturbing encounters, the inexplicable incidents solidifying his suspicion that the Coil was the heartbeat of an unfathomable cosmic horror. As he walked back to his motel room, a sudden realization washed over him. The whispers, the shadowy figure, the strange symbols, and now the nightclub were all interconnected, like a puzzle begging to be solved. But to unearth the truth, he would have to venture further, dig deeper, and confront what lay in wait. The dark whispers from the void. As dawn breathed life into Brookhaven, sleep evaded Elijah. The unassuming motel room seemed to be closing in on him. The worn-out wallpaper and drab curtains, a stark contrast to the vibrant, chaotic memories of the nightclub. His mind was abuzz with the enigmatic symbols and disturbing visions, each a piece of an intricate cosmic puzzle. He sought the company of old dusty books that had long been pushed to the forgotten corners of the local library. Encoded within the yellowed pages, he hoped to decipher the symbols and uncover the true nature of the Coil. Hours turned into days as he buried himself in research, his world shrinking to the confines of his musty sanctum. In an obscure tome, he stumbled upon a cryptic reference to an interdimensional breach, and it sent an icy shiver down his spine. The account described beings from a realm of darkness, eldritch horrors that hungered for contact with his own reality. The dots began to connect. The nightclub, the whispers, the symbols. They were all pieces of a ritual, a cosmic bridge to another dimension. At the heart of this revelation was the nightclub owner, a figure shrouded in mystery and rumors. Elijah's research painted a picture of a man driven by insatiable curiosity and an unholy desire for power. He was the puppeteer, dancing on the strings of an alien tune, a dangerous melody that threatened to consume Brookhaven. As he pieced together the horrifying truth, he began to notice the stirrings of an unsettling energy within himself. His traumatic past was resurfacing, the horrors of war somehow resonating with the otherworldly presence he felt emanating from the Coil. It was as if the dark travelers had somehow found a kindred spirit in his tormented soul, their whisperings growing louder and more insistent. His reality was fracturing, splitting between the sleepy town of Brookhaven and the cosmic nightmare that slithered beneath the surface. Each revelation made him question his understanding of the universe, the very fabric of his reality unraveling. His quiet quest for truth had turned into a descent into madness, pushing him towards the precipice of an abyss from which there was no return. As night fell once again, the Serpent's Coil came to life. Its pulsating neon glow seemed more sinister now, the discordant music a haunting siren call. Elijah stood before it, the revelations weighing heavy on his mind. As he prepared to delve back in, to confront the puppeteer, he knew he was venturing into a darkness that could consume him. Yet beneath the pulsating fear and overwhelming sense of dread, there was a spark of determination. He had a town to save, a cosmic nightmare to confront, and a personal battle to win. The final descent into the nightclub was a surreal experience, as if time itself was dilating around him. The once familiar setting of the Serpent's Coil was now a gateway to cosmic dread. Each flicker of neon light seemed to reveal a twisted reality, a nether realm that bled into their own. Elijah found himself before the nightclub owner, a man whose stature was dwarfed by the malevolent power he wielded. His face was etched with an insatiable hunger, a sickening fascination with the chaotic energies that swirled around them. In his presence, the whispers grew louder, threatening to drown him in their incomprehensible babble. The puppeteer was welcoming, his voice dripping with faux concern. He spoke of his ambition, of his desire to bring the dark travelers into their reality. His words painted a grim picture of a world consumed by the eldritch horrors, a vision that sent tendrils of ice down Elijah's spine. As he listened, he could feel the dark energies seeping into his consciousness, the whispers growing louder, their urgent tone reverberating in his mind. They spoke of power, of knowledge beyond comprehension, of realms unseen. It was seductive, and offered to soothe his tormented soul with the balm of cosmic understanding. But at what cost? The chilling climax came suddenly. In a desperate bid to stop the ritual, Elijah lunged at the puppeteer, chaos erupting around them. But it was too late. A cacophony of whispers filled the air as the nightclub was consumed by darkness, the tangible dread of the coil reaching its zenith. He could feel himself being drawn into the abyss, the veil between dimensions tearing apart. He could see them now, the dark travelers, their forms an affront to the human understanding of reality. Their mere presence was a maddening whirl of terror and fascination, a paradox that threatened to tear his sanity apart. As the whispers filled his consciousness, he felt his resolve waver. The truth about the universe, about his own existence, was far more terrifying and grandiose than he could have ever fathomed. He stood on the precipice of madness, teetering on the edge. In that moment, his tormented past, his PTSD, became a lifeline. The trauma, the pain, the nightmares of war, they grounded him, tethered him to his reality. Yet he also felt an unsettling kinship with the eldritch horrors. They were both shaped by experiences beyond the norm, beings living on the fringe of their respective realities. With a heavy heart, he embraced the whispers, the knowledge, the horrifying reality. He let the darkness consume him, his sense of self crumbling as he merged with the cosmic horror. As he joined the dark power, he became a bridge, a liaison between the nightmare and the waking world. Brookhaven was forever changed, its peaceful facade now masked a cosmic dread, its heart beating in sync with the rhythm of the universe. Elijah, once a kind and determined investigator, was now an integral part of the town's eldritch tapestry, a herald of the abyss, forever bound to the coil and the darkness it harbored. We appreciate you tuning in. If you fancied the content, show your support with a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to keep up with our eerie adventures. Eldritch Tales Factory has plenty more to offer. Until next time.